What's going on, guys? Let's go ahead and jump straight into the topic. Gosh, what is the deal with mystery boxes? Why are people still buying mystery boxes? Why are mystery boxes even a thing? I don't know, because they became popularized the last couple of years and now people think it's a cool thing to buy mystery boxes. I understand. Some of you that even watch my channel probably like mystery boxes. I get it. It's fun to take risks. We're already gambling with Pokemon cards. Why not just take it the next step and buy a mystery box from some of the big names? Like, let's take PokeRev, for example, with his mystery boxes. Some people have had really great stuff that they've gotten with those mystery boxes. But what's interesting is recently there was an ad for PokeRev's, there was an ad for mystery boxes and it featured PokeRev. Now, last year, the same thing happened. But PokeRev basically was like, look, I have nothing to do with this. He came out with a video talking about how he did not sponsor the product. And so that's all fine and dandy. They took that down. Then this year, they did the same ad again with him again. And let me tell you, a lot of people are going to buy that product. A lot of people are going to get burned by that product. A lot of people are probably going to think that PokeRev probably has something to do with it, even though he's just doing his thing, killing it in the Pokemon sphere, and probably could care less about sponsoring mystery box ads. So I think people should know better. But still, people are probably going to buy that product and they're probably going to blame him for it, even though he probably has nothing to do with any of it. Anyways, on top of the whole thing with PokeRev and his face being in front of these mystery boxes, which I think all big content creators that are in the space of Pokemon should worry about that in the future. Their faces or their names being used to sell certain products. It's definitely, it's not a fear that I would ever have. I would never sell mystery boxes in general. So I know that if my face was ever in front of anything mystery box wise, you guys would know that that's completely just not me. I would never do anything like that. I'm never going to sell a mystery box. That's just not something I would do. Mainly because I just don't see the point in mystery boxes. But what's even crazier is the drama behind the Omega mystery boxes that recently were said to have a CGC 10 Charizard that was caught on camera, which we now know, or at least I know, right? I believe Rattle's been on top of this. He's been covering this content. So make sure to go over to Rattle's channel and watch his videos in depth. But I see the thumbnails, I see a little bit of the videos, and I know, based off of looking at my own Charizard card, I know for a fact that the bottom of that card had to be trimmed. He's figuring out right now who trimmed it, but that's not the point. The point is, mystery boxes are almost always too good to be true. Now, I did have a friend recently also get a BGS 9.5 Vaporeon Gold Star from one of the older 2021 mystery boxes. So it's crazy because, I want to say that you shouldn't buy these things at all, but clearly people are getting something from them. I just think that the probability you're going to get something that crazy, it's highly unlikely. And in this case, it's like, oh my God, there's a CGC 10 graded Charizard that somebody just pulled out of a mystery box. This is incredible. Who would have ever thought that the mystery box company would end up putting something that's actually extremely valuable in one of these boxes at random for people to gamble for? Well, here's the kicker. I guess it's not so valuable anymore because the fact of the matter is that it was trimmed at the bottom. One would argue that the card's value has absolutely been destroyed because of the trimming at the bottom of the card. It almost reminds me back to I literally already forgot this YouTuber's name. I don't like to bring up YouTubers too often, but I respect Rattle. He does a lot of good work, and PokeRev is kind of hard. It's kind of hard to not see his stuff pop up in your feed if you are at all interested in Pokemon content. Shiny Vert, I don't see his content pop up as much, but Shiny Vert, that's the one. He was cutting cards and sending them off to CGC, and he was actually getting the cards graded back. as being miscuts, I believe. And then I think CGC banned him or cracked down on him. I can't remember exactly, but that was some drama at that time that I should have covered more on. But anyways, this kind of reminds me of that. It's like somebody just had a meat slicing machine. I've joked about this before, but it's like somebody just had a meat slicing machine and just sliced down on that first edition Charizard, sent it into CGC, and I guess they included it in these mystery boxes. This is weird, guys. This is a whole new level of weird. It's painful to know that a first edition Charizard even got altered in any way at all. But clearly the goal was to create a super high value card that would be inside of these mystery boxes. What's crazy too is in a lot of ways, some of these cards would never even be found, right? So it's kind of crazy that the card even popped into a stream and was opened out of a box, considering that there's plenty of people that probably just hoarded mystery boxes and just kept them sealed and kept them tucked away. That's kind of how my friend recently got the Gold Star Vaporeon out of a mystery box, is that it had been tucked away and I guess opened at some point. So you kind of won't know everything that's inside these mystery boxes until all of them are opened. I know my hair looks crazy, guys. I really need to get a haircut. But yeah, I just think, like, why are people still buying mystery boxes? It's kind of ridiculous to me. I've not once looked at buying a mystery box or even considered it. You see all these listings on eBay that are like mystery slab deals, like guaranteed one high value card. Guys, don't buy anything like that. You are wasting your money. You are throwing it down the drain. We're already doing that enough with Pokemon. We're already, opening packs and gambling with our money. You guys see me throw away a good bit of money every live stream, every Thursday, pretty much. So it kills me that people will spend hundreds of dollars on mystery boxes or these listings on eBay with mystery bundles, mystery slabs. They're shown with a first edition Charizard. You guys know exactly the kind of ones that I'm talking about. So kind of ridiculous. Definitely some drama there, and I imagine for PokeRev, maybe he doesn't care because he's big enough at this point where he doesn't really have to care. But at the same time, it's like, yo, your name is on this stuff. Your name is on this stuff. When you get that big, you don't want that kind of negative press. It's not good. And I wonder, at what point, if your channel's big enough, does negative press even affect anything? Does it help? Because before you know it, people are talking about these mystery boxes and PokeRev didn't sponsor these and his face is in it. And then it's just more people getting driven to his channel. I wonder sometimes if it even matters, when this stuff happens, does he even break a sweat over it? Or is he just like, well, that's weird. Definitely not me. Not going to worry about it. But I wonder if this is going to result in, potential legal action from him going against them, saying, hey, I already told you guys a year ago that I'm not sponsoring this product, and yet here you have my face in front of this product. Reputation is everything. Reputation is everything. What you're known for is everything. And he's one of the top, Pokemon, he is the top Pokemon creator in the world, I'm pretty sure. So it matters. It matters when his face is on something that a lot of people consider a gimmick. That matters. I really don't even think he should be selling mystery boxes, but at the same time, someone like PokeRev actually has opened enough cool product and has such a massive collection that he probably does have an overwhelming amount of cards and probably would give some really great cards in some of those mystery boxes. I wouldn't be surprised. I know some people, the last time I talked about mystery boxes, some people chimed in and were saying that, like, hey, I've actually had really good experiences with some of the mystery boxes. I'm just saying, guys, nothing against you if that's what you're into. I'm just saying, not for me, not something that I'd be interested in. I would rather buy one high-end card at a time than gamble that maybe that card is in one of these products, in one of these boxes. And then back to the Back to the Omega box, you know, the drama of having that Charizard clipped at the bottom. And guys, again, I brought this up last video, but just to show you guys again, here is my first edition. Here's my first edition Charizard right here. Come on, zoom in, you stupid camera. All right, here's my first edition Charizard right here, graded by PSA. It's a 5. Yeah, it's nothing crazy. But okay, let's look at the back here. If we look at the recent CGC 10 first edition Charizard that was pulled on stream out of a mystery box, you can very clearly tell from looking at the regular curved corners on this one that one was clipped. It was clipped very, very lightly at the bottom. I would have been so nervous to clip that card, but they definitely clipped that card so that they could get it cleaner. I'm not sure what it was before. Maybe it was a raw card and it had a little bit of edge wear at the bottom. And so they're like, look, all the other sides are good. If we can just clip the bottom of this card, there's just, the past couple years, I think there's always been some form of fraud in Pokemon, I would guess. But the past couple years, we've seen way more fraud than I would ever expect. Like, this is a whole new level. I talked about Arjun, Dylan, and doing the fake first edition stamps on the real Shadowless Charizards. That was one thing, right? The level of risk going into that and altering those cards. But this is a whole new level. Taking a Grail card like a first edition Charizard, taking a piece of amazing Pokemon history and just destroying it in one move by clipping the bottom of it. I know there's a ton of people out there that would probably say, well, at least he cut the card well enough that it still looks legit. Like, I'm not gonna lie, guys, when I first saw the CGC 10 first edition Charizard that got pulled out of that Omega box, I was like, that's incredible. What a clean card. Who would have known? I didn't notice that it looked weird in any way, and kudos to everybody who maybe assisted Rattle, or maybe Rattle noticed it himself, but kudos to everybody that chimed in on that noticed that something is not right here, right? Like, why would they give back something that major, right? Like companies are not doing stuff to lose money, right? They're you know, it's kind of the lottery where they're going to put in, you know, the big lottery winnings, which I guess in this case is the CGC 10 Charizard. And you have all these people spending a ton of money, wasting their money buying mystery boxes, trying to open it, trying to get that one lottery ticket. I get that it's kind of like the lottery. That's kind of how these mystery boxes work. But I definitely didn't factor in that, like, why would they do something like this? Why would they give such a high value card, CGC 10, which is not nearly as valuable as a PSA 10, in my opinion. I don't think it's going for as much on the market. I think right now there's a CGC 10 first edition Charizard set on eBay for $150,000. So, and I know the going price for probably a PSA 10 is closer to 180, 200, 250, somewhere in that area. So I know it's not nearly as valuable, but it's just like, why would they throw in such a high value card? Like, what's the word for this? What's the catch? What's the catch, right? So I think it's awesome that people in Rattle's circle, or maybe Rattle himself, people noticed that something was not right with this card, right? I really wouldn't have noticed that right off looking at the back. Upon closer inspection, it's pretty obvious what was done to the card, but it's amazing that people are on top of that. And of course, once again, you know, you have people that are forming ties with CGC, people that are higher up in the totem pole of Pokemon collecting and influencing and content creating. And there's kind of a rumor, a myth, which is really kind of being more, it's been more put in the spotlight since PokeRadar's Illustrator Pikachu debacle. That was crazy. I think it was a CGC 9. I think it was a CGC 9 when it really should have been more like a CGC 6 or 7 or something like that. Anyways, I knew that something was up, but I was like, you know, mad props. That guy got an awesome grade back. But now knowing more of the facts and knowing that people have connections to CGC, and it's not like a simple submission where it's an anonymous submission. No, these people are going into CGC. They're handing the cards in. They're shaking the CEOs of CGC's hand. You know, they're making good, sipping coffee together, talking about how much value they're creating and the marketing they're doing. I just think that there's a huge unfair advantage, for a lot of those people getting those cards graded, which is really unfair to the rest of us. But two, I'm starting to see that CGC is maybe not the most moral company, right? Because they obviously graded that trimmed Charizard. They obviously graded it a 10. They didn't see anything wrong with it. If there was anyone who was going to notice what was wrong with that card before it went inside of those Omega mystery boxes, it was CGC. So something is seriously not right here with CGC and those guys. And I know that this video, probably I should talk more about mystery boxes and why you should be avoiding these products and not supporting them, because it just perpetuates the cycle of people buying these mystery boxes and like, oh, well, so-and-so opened it and got something crazy. It's such a marketing ploy and a marketing tactic, especially with the Omega Box mystery, with the CGC 10 Charizard recently. It's just a huge marketing ploy. Probably the same deal with Pokey Radar, or just Radar, forget what his name is. And I really like that guy too. I like his character overall. I like listening to his podcasts, but you definitely are bringing in negative, unwanted attention when you're involved with a company that does stuff like this. That's like grading cards that should have never been graded. Now, I will say that I don't think Beckett or PSA is perfect by any means. I think they have their own cans of worms, you know, but this is just a big deal because Rattle's been covering it. It's front and center. It's just super obvious. Like, CGC is looking worse by the day, guys. CGC is looking worse by the day. And that's a huge concern for me because we want more people to get into the hobby of collecting Pokemon cards. We want to make this hobby more popular. You know, that's why we make content about it. That's why we talk about it. We want to grow the hobby and the community and the culture and get more people talking about it and more people interested in the stuff that we're interested in. But it's not good when one of like the top tier grading companies, and I do consider CGC a top tier company, even though they're kind of fresh on the block when it comes to grading cards. I do consider them to be a top tier company, and they should act more responsibly and morally. And this is getting bad, guys. This is getting really bad. I worry about this hobby when stuff like this happens, especially when like the stock market is at a high right now. The housing market's at a high. It seems like the rest of the world is doing really good, and I don't feel like we're seeing that push in Pokemon, and I feel like it's because we're seeing a lot of negative events and situations unfolding in this hobby, and that's just overall leaving a sour taste in everybody's mouth. I think a lot of people have stayed away from CGC for their own reasons, for grading values, to get the most bang for their buck. You know, going with PSA because a lot of people are still going to be buying PSA at a premium to CGC. But still, of course, there's going to be a ton of people that are diehard CGC fans and then just say, you know what, their grading costs are lower, the slabs are nicer. I get it, guys. I get why you like CGC, but and I did a submission with them as well with a friend of mine. But since then, all the negativity that's come out about CGC is definitely not helping them. And this whole mystery box debacle on top of it's just really, really bad. So bad look for CGC, bad look for mystery boxes. Hopefully PokeRev was able to combat the sponsored ad with his face on the front of it. Hopefully they've taken that down by now and that's not out there, and there aren't people, victims I should say, buying these crappy products that are being put out and making it look like somebody is sponsoring them that people idolize in the hobby. It's bad news right now. So anyways, don't buy mystery boxes. that's my video for today. That's the topic for the day. Just let me know what you think about mystery boxes in general. What do you think about this CGC 10 Charizard ordeal? What do you think about CGC as a company in general? How could they let this happen? Anyways, peace out, guys. Have a great day. I think tomorrow we're either going to talk about the market overall, what I think is going on, especially with the other traditional markets, or we'll talk about the newest addition to Pokemon, which is the Pokemon Pocket series. They are starting a whole new digital version of the game. Should you be worried? Should you be excited? Is this going to be a smash hit? Is it going to be a flop? So we'll talk about that probably tomorrow. Anyways, you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching. I know I have crazy hair. Forget about it.